Hey guys, Philip Shadler here, your local real estate agent in Los Angeles, and today I want to talk about buyers' advice, home buyers' tips. It often happens, and I don't know why this happens, when people are thinking about buying a property, they don't do the first thing, which is talk to a mortgage broker. In other words, get pre-approved, because oftentimes you may be wanting to look at a house. Some agents require, especially in the higher priced houses, require that you have pre-approval letter or proof of funds if it's a cash deal. And by not doing so and looking at a house, even if you're lucky enough to be able to look at a house where they don't require that, by the time you get pre-approved, it might take 2, 3, 4 days for your bank to get pre-approved. And by that time, the house might be gone. They might already have an offer. So it's really the very first step is to really get pre-qualified. This is nothing, it's not a big deal because you just have to bring up your documentation, obviously, your income and whatever the lender requires. You get a pre-approval letter. First of all, you know your purchasing power. You know how much of a house you can buy. Second, you can renew this letter every 30 days if nothing has changed in your financial picture. You just call up the bank and says, can you renew my pre-approval letter? So, and this is something your agent should have on his or her computer, because the moment you want to submit an offer, it takes about half an hour to an hour to write a clean offer. You want to submit that immediately with the offer and you have the best chance to get the property. But here are some other first-time homebuyer tips that I want to point out today. Number one would obviously be saving early. So it's a good idea to start putting your budget together maybe a year or two prior. Also, I would recommend to get in touch with a realtor who can put you on a email list where you get new properties as they hit the market. This is very, very important. So first, starting saving early. Then start working on your credit score as soon as possible. This is also extremely important because a higher credit score will earn you less interest, lower interest rate. So basically saving money. Try not to finance anything new before buying a home. So don't open up a credit card account. Don't go to Best Buys and open up a Best Buy credit card. Anything like that, creditors will look at, especially if it's new, will look at you as high risk and you may be denied because of that. Now, decide on how much house you can afford. This is your purchasing power. This is what the lender can help you with by looking at your data, your financials. Explore different mortgage options, very important too, and especially if you're first-time home buyers. There are oftentimes very interesting programs that not every lender offers. So in other words, if you're just going to a financial institution and try to get a loan with that institution, they may not know about first-time homebuyer options. So if you go to a mortgage broker, which has a much larger selection of lenders and is familiar with the first-time homebuyer programs, you may save a lot of money that way. And here it is, get familiar with first-time homebuyer programs. 7, find out about your first-time homebuyer assistance in your state. So every state is different. So in California, obviously, there are some first-time homebuyer programs, and I covered this in a different video where the state actually gives you a down payment assistance. And if you live in a home more than 5 years, you may never have to pay it back. It depends if you qualify for that. Get your loan paperwork together. So start already getting your paperwork together, your W-2s, any kind of income sources you have. Try to get all that together beforehand. W-2s, tax returns, pay stubs, that sort of thing. Bank account statements. Compare mortgage lenders. Again, with a mortgage broker, if you have a really good one that is on your side, it looks out for your best interest. And I have a couple of people that I can recommend to you that are absolutely fantastic. A mortgage lender is very important to compare because, again, you may get different deals. You may get a better deal with this or with that and so forth. You may also get government assistance programs. Avoid interest-only adjustable rate mortgages. This is something I would stay away from unless you're an investor and you only plan to keep the property for a year, 6 months, year or 2 years, and then sell it again. That's a different story. But if you're going in the long term, 30-year mortgage, 15 to 30-year mortgage, I would highly recommend staying away from adjustable rate mortgage because you just don't know where it would end up. And some people have lost their properties because they went into adjustable, the rates went up, their monthly payments went to the point where they couldn't afford it, and the property and everything is gone, including your down payment, your savings. So it's very important to look into that and really have the best advice. And don't forget about closing costs. This is something also that you have to kind of figure into your calculations. And they could be anywhere from 2 to 5%, sometimes 6%, but I would say 2 to 5% is probably a safe bet, depending again on the price range and what state you're in. And keep an eye out for other expenses. You know, for example, what some people don't realize is the moment you close a property, you get what's called a consolidated tax bill. And this is basically the remaining from the previous owner to the new owner, depends on the time frame. And this could sometimes be, depending on the property price, could be anywhere from $800 to $1,800 to $2,000 to $3,000. This is something that only comes once after you close escrow. It's called a consolidated tax bill. This is something to keep in mind. And this is also something to explore when you have a real estate agent and a lending company. So anyway, make sure that financially that you are ready for a home loan. So you don't want to have it in such a way that you're completely strapped financially. You know, that doesn't make sense. You should have something left at the end of the month after you pay your mortgage payment. So make sure that financially you are ready for a home loan. Of course, you know, if you have two incomes, that's always better because it's a little bit safer. If a couple buys it, that's obviously safer in case somebody is out of work. The other one can kind of help out. But anyway, this is something very, very important to consider. And get pre-approved for a home loan. Again, talking to your lenders about it, and use real estate apps to look for your dream home. You can do it as well. Or like I said, a real estate agent can put you on an email list where you get, as soon as the properties come on the market. That's how I do it for my clients. Sometimes they receive it before other websites get it, maybe 30 to an hour before. But the moment they come on the market, you get notified, and this way you have the best chance to strike right away. And this is, again, this is the reason why it's so important to have the pre-approval and all the paperwork in place, because the moment you come in with or you see a property that you like, you call your agent, you tour the property, you make an offer right then and there. There's no waiting for paperwork and potentially losing out on the sale, on the purchase. So that's very, very important. Obviously, find the right real estate agent for you. This is somebody that has your best interest at heart and is very much a fiduciary, practices fiduciary duty to look out for the buyer's best interest, exploring all the options, and giving you the best possible deal possible in the negotiations skills. And also, yeah, you can utilize open houses and virtual tours. So you can just always go to open houses. When you do go to an open house, I want to point out, and you do not have an agent, then it doesn't matter. But if you're working with an agent and you walk into an open house, tell the agent that you're already working with an agent if you are committed to an agent. And I would recommend that you are committed, because it's like teamwork. So when you have a good agent, you're working together as a team. If you're just walking into a house, you don't know what agent you're going to get. It's possible that agent would do a dual representation, meaning representing the seller and the buyer, which is a conflict of interest, and that could potentially turn into a very scary and hairy situation that you may really want to think twice about. Something like that I would only recommend if you absolutely know the person really, really well, the agent, and when they represent both sides. But it is a very slippery slope, and it's definitely to be approached with caution. And don't be afraid to negotiate with the seller. So this is what the agent does. Obviously, the agent, your real estate agent, will negotiate with the seller on your best possible outcome. Credit for repairs. If something needs to be done, the agent will usually do that for you. And again, look out for your best interest. And very important, do not get emotionally attached to a home. This is very important, because sometimes people walk into homes and, oh my gosh, I love this place, I want it. And now they're willing to spend anything, their savings, to get this place. And this is a very dangerous situation. Again, you want to, of course, love your home. I understand that. You want to walk into a home and say, oh my gosh, this is it. You know, when people start imagining that they're putting their furniture in their places already in a new house they're just walking into, that's usually a sign that they are thinking about purchasing this place. But then don't get emotionally so involved that you will spend too much potentially, which could, at the end of it, could get you in a very slippery or dangerous situation financially. So approach it, with a common mind. And this is also why you have a real estate agent. A real estate agent is not emotionally involved like a buyer might be. So the real estate agent will just look at the facts, numbers, and data, And then based on that, we'll tell you or advise you to move forward or to offer this much or that much or ask for this kind of credit and so forth. So this is very, very, very important. And of course, save physical copies of your home buyer paperwork. That's obviously an agent will do all that for you, give you contracts and everything and copies of everything. Make sure you budget your home for maintenance. So there is always something going to happen at some point, maybe not right away, but who knows, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 months down the road, you may have to either paint the place or you may want to do some restructuring, redesigning, or you may also have a plumbing issue or something. So just have some money aside. This is again important, what I was referring to earlier, that when you purchase a house or you do your planning, to make sure that you don't overspend and spend your savings, because you want to have some money left for a rainy day or for something like this to happen. Overall though, in my opinion, buying a house for long term, even right now with about maybe 5.25% interest rate, which is not really that high. It's obviously higher than it was last year, but in the long run, it is still a great investment. If you look at California from 1940s, it is always a continuous up and down, but a continuous upward motion. So homes that were in the 1940s, $50,000 are now sold for $1 million. So it just gives you an idea. And this continues to go up. It's just the way the real estate market is working in general. Now, if we have a recession, whatever, that may put a pause or a slight dent in that calculation. However, in general, though, you can say it's a very safe and much more, obviously have a return with your equity, which you don't have as a renter. Anyway, if you have any questions about first-time home buying or any of these points that I pointed out here, feel free to contact me anytime at 310-918-2260. And I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And if you can like, share, and distribute this and forward this, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Until next time.